So, Carlos, why did People First Economy start this campaign?
Well, invest in care, invest in growth. It's really all about promoting the care economy. And the care economy is pretty simple. It's just referring to the paid and unpaid labor that goes into caring for others. Child care, elderly care, you think about domestic labor, you think about healthcare, and it really underpins what a strong economy can look like. And so while out in the community, speaking of business owners, speaking of the workforce, we're hearing a lot about it, but it's not always given a name. And so we felt it's important to shine a bright light on it and hopefully get more attention, more funding, more resources, and aligned policy to make sure it's getting proper support.
Alrighty, Carlos. In what ways can the community get involved in the Invest in Care, Invest in Growth campaign?
Well, we we have our base in serving small businesses all around the state of Michigan. There's over 500 of them. And I would say start where you're at with what you know, with what you can do, right? We all have different challenges, but at our core, People First Economy, we believe you could build a business that's profitable, but that also takes care of your employees, considers the stakeholders that you engage with, whether they're customers, community members, and even the environment. And so we're here to support you if you want education, if you want to connect to other folks in your similar industry who consider these things. For those who want to take a step deeper, we're also collaborating with different partners around the state of Michigan who are a part of different advocacy groups. And so if you're interested in taking this message and advocating a little deeper, going to Lansing, we can make some introductions and connections for you. But at our core, it's about doing what we can right now, sharing the good word, and again, for those business owners, start where you're at with what you know. If it could be as simple as considering giving folks time off throughout the week to pick up their children from school, to maybe take their parents or someone in their family to a doctor's appointment, figuring out creative ways where they can still get the work done, but still care for those around them. Over time, as you build your business, it's also going to include things like what you pay them, what type of benefits you offer, things like healthcare, and slowly work towards that ultimate goal. And we want to be here to support you. We want to be here to connect you with the resources if we don't have it in our house. But at a minimum, share the word. If you're a worker, if you're an employee somewhere, and you'd like to communicate this to the folks that that you work for, reach out to us. We'd love to have a word with them as well and just support. But we want to build a really strong community around the state of Michigan that's diving deeper into this work. And Invest in Care, Invest in Growth really is just building a strong foundation for that mission and towards that long-term vision of being a national model as a state.
Alrighty, Carlos. So, what goals are you hoping to accomplish with the Invest in Care, Invest in Growth campaign?
Well, the biggest goal is just to ensure we understand and share with the community that the care economy is strong economic development policy, right? Oftentimes when we think about caring for the elderly in our family, children, our loved ones, it's easy to stay at the level of it's the right thing to do. We care about them, and that's true. But in addition to that, it also helps make our economy stronger. Right, so when you think about, somewhere around like 11 to 30% of the workforce is unable to work due to child giving responsibilities or child rearing responsibilities, it's leaving people out of the workforce. When you consider women entrepreneurs who have a disproportionate responsibility to care for those around them, it's impacting over 40% of them from really engaging in growing their businesses. So it's preventing people from investing in growth. It's preventing workers from going into the workforce. So it's keeping talented people out of the workforce. It's keeping talented entrepreneurs outside of building their business. And it just continues, right? Studies are going to show you that $1 invested in childcare returns $8 back into your economy. Over $11 billion are left on the sidelines due to inadequate child care and elderly care structures. And these are national studies, which you can find more on our website. But overall, we want to be clear that we need the right infrastructure. right? And everyone can play a role. There's a role that small businesses can play in helping sure the structure is done properly. There's a role that the state can play, and we have to do it together. We need to ensure that we're building a strong economy based on the most vulnerable who still need the rest of us to care and support them. And that's really what Invest in Care, Invest in Growth is about. By working together, we'll build a stronger economy. We're going to care for the people around us, and we're going to make sure that entrepreneurs can be more competitive in accessing strong talent who have these additional, caregiving needs. And it involves childcare, elderly care. It involves healthcare, right? It involves things like paid family leave. And so how are we figuring out the right levers to pull? Because we don't have all the answers either, but it involves everyone coming to the table to build this thing together. On the home page, if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see a section that says Raise Your Voice, Join People First Policy. Sign up on the forum. We're going to get you connected to education, resources, and expanded network, much larger than just our organization, to make sure that you find the right home, the right hub, and that at a minimum, as a small business owner, you're learning to think deeper about how you interact with the environment, how you interact with your stakeholders, the people around you, but also just how you build a better business. Because again, we want to make sure you're profitable and that you're using entrepreneurship as a tool to build community and personal wealth over time. If you have any questions, info@peoplefirsteconomy.org, and we'll get you plugged into the right resources within our ecosystem. So we're excited to do this work with you. Invest in care, invest in growth. It's going to be a fun year of just education and advocacy together.